You think you're a genius? I heard you can't even remember your own name. With such an insult, the president threw a punch at Ellie as onlookers watched in horror. After all, she was the president of this private elite school, and the school leaders didn't mind her little boxing match. Ellie seemed unfazed, clearly wanting to rip off the president's mask of unity and love. Little did the president know, she just punched a guy who was universally rejected by schools across the nation. What a plot twist. Ellie used to be a lot tougher. When she fought, she showed no mercy, definitely a badass in her own right. Such behavior quickly caught the school's attention. The principal initially wanted to let her off due to her grades and teachers' pleas. Little did she expect Ellie to dismiss her completely, even flaunting her watch like she was saying, "It's not time yet." The principal was furious and announced her expulsion on the spot, leaving everyone in shock. You have only one thing to say to those like you, that's malicious, no explanations needed. You will never again be able to put your hands on any teacher in this school, and Ellie is evil because she has an even more sinister figure behind her. In front of him, she wouldn't dare to breathe loudly, obedient as a bunny, and her home life was about as stable as a tightrope. If she accidentally dropped a fork, he'd swing a hand and give her a slap, then start his version of love education. Even when he was in a bad mood, just breathing wrong felt like a crime. What a life. At those times, she'd choose to play the piano to drown out those educational sounds. Her mother loved her, but she knew this family felt like a prison. To give her daughter a good education, her mom went to great lengths to send her to this school, even selling off everything valuable in the house. This was her last chance, the final fight of her high school career. Everything will be okay, she promised, but little did she know, there was a twist in the tale. When Ellie arrived at her new school with her fresh short hair, she was greeted by the student council president as if she was at a welcome. While she seemed friendly, her words always circled back to the rules. We all work together here, was what they said as they arrived at the dorm, with the roommate stating the obvious, follow the rules. Well, thanks for the advice. In this school, students manage everything. What a goal. It's like student government, but with more drama. Okay, but Ellie clearly didn't take her advice seriously. Trouble was just around the corner. One day at lunch, a classmate casually asked about her dad, and Ellie's face turned black, definitely not in the mood to chat. The president called out the classmate, and to Ellie's surprise, no one came to her defense. The classmate just stood there obediently, only for the president's lackey to smack her head with a lunch tray talk about the meal attack. The surrounding classmates were completely unfazed, even the school leaders looked clueless. Ellie realized this was the president's welcome gift, and that night, a classmate filled her in on the school's secrets. The school was run by the student council outside of classes. The rules were basically know your place. She was frustrated, but kept her cool for her mother's sake. One day, she accidentally let a curse slip while chatting, and the president's minion immediately called for punishment. What a slip! But the president, furious, called Ellie's chatty classmates to share her punishment. This time, the punishment was worse. She got a bottle-capped smack on the head from a punishment innovator. Luckily, the classmate didn't get mad at Ellie. Instead, they just became friends, and her roommate Pi advised her to just hang in there. The embarrassed president wasn't about to let Ellie off the hook. She quickly had her minions bring Ellie along. To teach her a lesson, they ordered Ellie to start shining shoes. What a laugh! The minion saw her breaking down and stopped her, then pointed at the pile of dirty shoes with a grin. A few classmates immediately wanted to humiliate her, but the president cunningly said they had to stick to the rules. Pi was worried, thinking they'd force Ellie to give in since refusing punishment twice doesn't end well. But Ellie believed that if she strictly adhered to the rules, then the president would absolutely have nothing to hold against her. But she clearly was overestimating her luck. After all, the president's minions love stirring the pot. Soon, the minions purposely provoked her, and there was absolutely no way she'd keep quiet. Chaos was brewing. Ignoring Pi's warnings, Ellie was ready to fight. But she turned around halfway down the stairs. It was like a rush. She didn't want to be humiliated, and hearing her mother's caring voice on the phone calmed her down a bit. Ellie gradually began calming her emotions. But when the president noticed the time had arrived and she still hadn't appeared, she swiftly labeled Ellie as a mouse. Pi was thrilled, knowing Ellie didn't join the fight, and her choice earned her some respect. Although many began referring to her as a mouse, Ellie was completely indifferent to it all. She thought she could just endure this year, but the president clearly wasn't done with her yet. One day, she used the excuse of a rune check to push everyone out like prisoners while she started the search. She turned the once tidy dorm into a mess, yet couldn't find anything on Ellie. What an unsuccessful harvest. Even if annoyed, she wouldn't act impulsively. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe.